understand you have a losing it story for me.
The losing it story would be just losing my old way of thinking, if that would qualify, or more a little bit of like a gaining it, new ideology, a new outlook on life. So about just over 5 years ago, my daughter, my middle child, was diagnosed with cancer, very rare pediatric cancer. She's good now. She's flying. She's absolutely thriving. She's a pillar of health. She's an amazing child. But so it was we've got basically no pediatric oncology in Namibia. It's such a small country. So my wife had to move with her for 15 months to Cape Town, and we would get to see each other. How far away is that? It's like a 22-hour drive or 2.5-hour flight. We would get to see each other, if we were lucky, every 3 weeks for a weekend between her chemo cycles. So she had 15 months of really heavy chemo radiation.
Do you mind me asking how you found out there was something wrong and how she was diagnosed?
She had a tumor, a big tumor just next to her bum. And she was just complaining about pain, and we took her to the doctor. It was actually misdiagnosed here. We went for a second opinion, and luckily we found it was stage 3 already. But
this is the 10-year-old. This is the one who's 10 now.
Yeah, she's 10 now. Nina. She was 4 at the time.
She was 4. Oh my God. Okay, so you have a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, and your 4-year-old is misdiagnosed. Oh, and you had couldn't figure out. I couldn't do the math. I couldn't figure out whether the third one was there or not. So she's misdiagnosed. Then how did you discover she was misdiagnosed?
No, we didn't. We really wanted the first doctor said it's maybe a hematoma or a cyst or something. So sort of just it should pass. And we just immediately went for a second opinion.
Good.
And we my wife had to move to Cape Town. I was stuck here. I mean, this was basically all within the span of a couple of days. So packed up, basically left, rocked up at the hospital, tried to check in. We didn't have a place to stay or anything. So got them set up. We had some amazing support network friends giving us a place to stay. I was based here with a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. My wife was there, and whenever we could, we'd try and see each other. And I mean, my wife did an amazing job with Nina. I mean, it's not she kept it away from her so well. She was brilliant for him. And once basically, so I mean, once this whole thing was over, I mean, it was such our kids are so tight now, the 3 of them. Like, I've never seen siblings before, and this is so much because they appreciated the time together so much. Those little gaps we had together, and to this day they still share a room all the time, even though they've got their own rooms. They're incredibly tight, the 3 of them. And once you step out of an experience like this, when you really it was a very hard time. And once you step out of an experience like that, we just sort of sat back, my wife and I, just basically reprioritized everything and realized, like, spend so much time chasing the dollar and trying to live for your retirement and work your ass off now so you can buy an RV when you're 65 and drive off into the sunset. And so we just basically decided to shift priorities and just make our prioritize family life, quality time together, health. And that was, and it's the best thing we could have ever done. So the mission has been our mandate has basically been to help those who can't help, and out of this to help those who can't help themselves, whether it be people, animals, organizations, anything. We just try and give back and do what we can.
So you've got a 1-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 5-year-old. Your 4-year-old, Nina is her name? Did you say? Yeah. Or that's your wife's name? Or your daughter's name? Nina.
Nina.
So Nina's diagnosed. Your wife and Nina have to go off to Cape Town. how, I know you said that she had chemo, but I didn't quite hear how long were you guys separated?
15 months.
15 months. You did say 15 months. Okay. So your life before this happened looked how? You know what I mean? Like was it all about the kayaking?
We had a much bigger, the kayaking was there already, but we had a much bigger tourism business also. And another business. We were very driven. Still a good family, but we were very busy, and
because we all believe that we have to be successful, and that, you know, we don't want money for money's sake. We want money because the freedom it'll get us and all of that. But we can lose sight of, I think we all lose sight of what's important. So you've got two businesses, you're really busy. This happens. And then how did the shift happen? And how did that, how did that feel for you to sort of, like you said, you let go of the old you, and so your identity shift. What's this new identity, and how does that feel? I mean, is it like
once this whole journey started, we sold off the big business with the intention of, it's fine, we can build up something else again later, just to free me up a bit here, because I would obviously be very involved with the other two kids, and then just through the whole process, I mean, you're sitting holding your old daughter's hand, vomiting, and you sort of realize that things are there's a lot more important things in life. And so once this whole thing was done, we just realized things are actually okay, did some sums, and we figured don't need the extra car or the extra trip to Europe or something like that. Let's just try without the other business, and just we'll have a lot more time for ourselves and get away on weekends and support the kids and whatever they want to do, and look after animals, and we've got a ton of animals at home.
Do some kayaking.
Exactly. Do what makes us happy.
Yes. Oh my God. So how long into? So she's got 15 months of chemo. And I know they've always. What I understand, it's 5 years out, then you're okay. But how long into the process of her chemo and her treatment were you guys able to heave a sigh of relief? Where it's oh my God, she's gonna be okay, because you didn't go into it knowing she was going to be okay. Is that correct?
No, of course not. But she responded really well. She was such a trooper. She really did. She managed to keep to all her schedules, which are really heavy. Normally these kids sort of start to drop back a little bit. She was every sort of milestone point and was positive. It was always positive. There was never any major setbacks, never. So we stayed extremely positive the whole time. And you've still always got that big doubt, that big fear you never want to talk about, but it's always in your mind. But the positivity and
just visualizing a
effort on just keeping her positive, creating this absolute bubble around her. And a friend of mine, he's a cancer survivor, and he gives his motivational speeches, and he's all about this power of positivity. And his mantra is happier people are harder to kill. And it was just this thing that stuck with me.
I want that T-shirt. That's a good T-shirt. Happier people are harder to kill, because yes, I mean, we know how much some cancers and some illnesses are a result of stress, because if the body's always living in fight or flight stress, it wreaks havoc on the body. So yeah, absolutely. So would you say you're a happier person now than you were?
I am. Yeah, definitely. I was very stressed before, and stress comes in different forms now. It's stress now is having a 200-kilogram seal bearing down at me, trying to bite my arm off, and
I know, I hate when that happens. Happened to me last week.
but no, it's we try and reduce those stress now. It's oh man, we haven't posted yet. We still it's 4:00 and the new video is not up. But these are all things that at the end of the day, no one's going to die from it. That's going to be fine. Like we're not neurosurgeons or anything. So
absolutely. Wow. Well, that's great. So let me ask you a question. If there's somebody out there who maybe has two businesses and is, working to get that RV so they can retire when they're 65, but isn't happy, what would you say to them?
It's difficult because
so it doesn't have to take something like your child getting cancer to make that change. What would you say to them?
No, it's for me, and it's something I forgot to add earlier. But I always need to say it's a very idealistic approach to life. It's not, for a lot of people, it's not that simple. We were in a very lucky position that other businesses could support us and that we could follow this dream. And a lot of people just don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
But no, just again, this whole thing of just try and make time for doing the things you want. If your dream is to drive your RV into the sunset, then get a small car, get some camp gear, and just go on the weekends and make time for they always say this thing like nobody on their deathbed ever said they wish they worked more. And
right.
And it's just, if you're working 9 to 5, then that's fine. Then stop work at 5. Don't carry it home. Don't stress about it. If you've got that kind of job, if you're working for yourself, then prioritize time schedules for yourself and make sure that you've got actual time for yourself too. Otherwise, what is the point, really?
Yeah. What is the point?
Losing it. Losing it. If you